Greetings, Ranger fans. Jake here, once again for another live edition of Database Rangers Power Reviews, where I take a look at the classic episodes of my Database Rangers Power Reviews series as we count down through our 100 weeks to the final episode. So, welcome to those of you who are filtering into the chat. Good evening, Jenny. Always a pleasure to see you. Obviously, if anyone has been following any of the Power Rangers social media today, there's been the big news drop. Good evening, Scott. We now have the confirmation that Power Rangers Dino Fury will be premiering on Nickelodeon on February 20th, and there has now been a trailer released through IGN. That has been shared by the Power Rangers Twitter as well as various other people involved with the show, most notably Simon Bennett and Becca Barnes, showrunner and one of the lead writers respectively. So that is very exciting. Welcome, Jeremy. Good to see you. I've watched the trailer. I am very intrigued at the moment because I'm really digging a lot of the aesthetics that are going on. Greetings, General Gilman. So what is my opinion on the franchise being pulled off Netflix? I am curious as to why this has happened. We knew it was coming. Fortunately, one kind of fun thing that I realized, and I'm not sure how long this will last, but you see there were a few episodes that I'm still finishing the scripts for, and one of the funny things is that I like to use Netflix for an easy app for me to be able to watch while I'm working on my scripts. And with Netflix on, with so much Power Rangers no longer on Netflix, I can't really do that anymore. Or so one might think, if one had forgotten that the download feature exists. And apparently, even after something leaves Netflix, and I wasn't sure if this would work, the downloads stick around for a little while. So I'm not sure exactly how much time I have on those downloads. But I do currently still have the handful of Power Rangers episodes that I haven't written the Power Reviews scripts for. Those episodes are currently downloaded on my phone, so I can keep working on those scripts. And I actually finished one of them just the other day that I actually started way back in fall of 2016. And I finally finished it this past week. And part of that was watching the last bit of it on my phone after Power Rangers had dropped off Netflix. So, very amusing. So, and welcome to, Dilal. I butchered that name, sorry. General Gilman, Devious Rage, Pure Nerdy, good to see all of you. Such a good group here tonight. But, yes, so I am still hard at work on those scripts. I've been editing episode 92. I'm hoping to wrap filming on episode 92 this weekend. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. That is the plan, to wrap filming on episode 92 this weekend, because it's February, which means that we are due for a Power Reviews episode this month. So by the end of this month, welcome Hayden, by the end of this month, we will be seeing the 92nd episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews. Editing is happening, the script is complete, and filming should be wrapping this weekend. So we're on track. And fortunately, much like with episode 91, it is minimal on effects, so it should come together relatively quickly. Again, knocking on wood. And this will be helped by the fact that I have my February break from school coming up. Actually, the week leading into the premiere of Dino Fury. So that's very nice. I'll have that week to sort of zero in on my editing and hopefully make some serious progress on 92 so it can get out by the end of the month. And then, of course, last month we had, I managed to squeak in my scripted video of the month with the very long-awaited uh, Database Ranger Common Writer Build Writer Log. So that one I know I've been claiming I was going to do for years. People have been asking about it for years, and I finally released it on Sunday night as a little bit of a surprise. So if you haven't checked it out, hopefully you'll enjoy it. Oh, well, happy impending birthday. And I will say that people are, I see you mentioning Tubi as a possible place for Power Rangers to go. I'm not sure. My current prediction, and this is purely conjecture on my part, is that I think that it's going to end up going to Paramount Plus. That's just me. I have nothing to confirm this, apart from just that Nickelodeon is apparently going to be on Paramount Plus, and Hasbro has a pre-established relationship with Paramount through the Transformers movies. So I would not be surprised if Paramount Plus wanted to fill out their children's programming backlog and, grab those 700 classic episodes of Power Rangers. Well, up over 900 now. So that is my prediction, and I'm curious to see if that'll pan out, because I know that Paramount Plus, I believe, is launching in March. So we might be seeing news of Power Rangers hitting there. I'm going to be keeping my eye open because I suspect that's where it's going to be. But that's just me. It could be Tubi. It could be nothing. It could be that they're just done with streaming services for a little while. But I suspect not. Just a hunch on my end. So, with regards to my plans for covering Dino Fury, I'm not going to be doing live reactions. I am working on a new weekly short-form review series that I'm looking at coordinating with another YouTube channel. So I'm going to be following up with them, getting everything in order there, so that hopefully I'll be able to have quick turnaround times, and it's something where I can script it, shoot it quickly, and not have to worry about interruptions with the newborn in the apartment. So that's going to be the goal for Dino Fury. I'm going to aim for for short, scripted, quick turnaround weekly reviews for Dino Fury. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, in collaboration with another YouTube channel. So we're looking at. I need to now that there's a confirmed release date for Dino Fury, I need to follow up with them to confirm everything so we can make a more formal announcement from there. And now we're already like 10 minutes in. There was so much to talk about this week with everything going on with Power Rangers, between Netflix, Dino Fury release date, Dino Fury trailer, what's the build writer log, and to answer the one random comment question from last week, yes, the character of Zagger is played by our cat Frankie. So yes, that is one of our actual cats. We don't have any resources to hire or put out a casting call for cats. But yeah, that's where my thoughts are at on all of those many things. So with all that said, I think it's time to dive into this commentary. And before we do, let's not forget our 3 non-controversial phrases. I keep forgetting and doing them at the end, so let's do it before we kick off this time. So, first up, say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. These should be 3 things that we can all agree are equally non-controversial statements. So, with all that said, I think it's time for us to dive in to the Year Zero finale of Database Rangers Power Reviews, Episode 12, The very long-awaited 13th episode of Power Rangers Super Samurai Review, The Master Returns. Ready, and let's go.
Previously on
those
Power
magical,
Review, while
magical
celebrating
tones.
the season.
But David's Ranger, you're not even sure if I exist.
I
Database
do,
Ranger made an important decision.
I do love the good old days of the announcer actually,
Find out
like,
next on
having
Database
things to
Ranger's
announce.
Power Review.
I have been hearing good things about WandaVision.
Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to Power Review.
It's,
This marks our 12th and final episode
yeah,
of
this
2012. Ending when I
this was sort of my
my
pilot season. Really, it was just sort of a trial run. Um,
season, Power Rangers Megaforce. But first, we've got a little
I know that the Halo franchise exists, but I know very little about it.
No. That's because we've just got our first equipment upgrade. As her way of saying thanks for
The
Christmas
beautiful
gifts, we got
cheapness
Buck
of
Hunter
just
camcorder
angling that mirror just slightly so that you can't see the camera.
I honestly don't know half the new specs, so I'll let her explain.
Ah,
Doctor?
Selective Quantum Utility Electronic Eyeline. This gimmick. Boom!
It's called
The first time that we have the gag of the SQUEE acronym. Like, at the time, I did not realize I was going to make this a running gag throughout the entire series. Also, I love that we got to set up night vision mode because it actually ended up coming into play in episode 33, or not 33, 34, Trouble by the Slice, where I spend the whole thing inside of an air vent. And then this was the clip that made it into the previous episode as our little as part of our clip show, where we were seeing the clips of past episodes, and this was the one future episode. So this was a fun gimmick to play around with. And it really was all rooted in one core concept. And that was, I knew I wanted the show to be able to escape from the structure of the traditional review show. Because it was going to be trapped in the apartment with me setting up a camera in universe every time. And that didn't make sense for where I knew the show was going to have to go. I knew we were going to have to go into the Alphabet Soup facility eventually, go on all these different adventures, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that with the format of the show as it was. So I decided that we would have this plot device of a camera that could follow me, that could interact with the events of the series and not interfere with them, thanks to its invisibility.
How dare you prepare us for a truly aggressive and competent opponent? So the Rangers head back inside to give Jaden his space. He asked G for advice,
and then the SQUEE ended up being such a good plot device for so many other things in the future that I hadn't even thought of at this point. Because I hadn't thought of things like, oh, this camera that can follow him around anywhere can act as a tracking device across different dimensions. That became a thing. And then, in episode 56, when we create the R2 SQUEE 2 so that there could be parallel plot lines following along with the different cameras. I realized by the time that we got to episode 62, 63, that I wanted to have 4 different SQUEEs so that we could track the characters across the different dimensions when they went apart for that arc. So this really this really ended up being a very useful plot device that of course has just been fun to say for all these years. Like, there's so much random technobabble that I give MJ to read as Dr. K, and although it was rough at the beginning to say it over and over and over again until we got down, now selective quantum utility electronic eyeline just rolls right off the tongue. We're so familiar with it now. Now you see, here's the thing. There's a reason that the Wii in Database Ranger's apartment functions as a wireless interdimensional interface. It's something else. Now, where did that come from? Why does he happen to have that in his apartment? Well, that's something that still needs to be revealed. Poor Bulk and Spike.
Outside the Christmas episode, they appear 2 more times and then disappear until the end of the finale. The pinnacle of their interaction with the rest of the cast was during Runaway
It was such an
and A Strange Case of the Monkey.
odd
Their big contribution to the overall plot have been
structure
to
for
visit Antonio
things.
once and return Mia's lost wallet. That's it. Bulk has been a cop, a detective, a monkey, an alien.
This is a fun rant. I forgot about this rant.
On various occasions, help save the Rangers, the planet, and become a legend on an alien world. And now the Red Ranger doesn't even know his name. What was that? Just the degradation and marginalization of the most enduring character of the franchise. Anywho, back to the plot. By the coastline,
It's just a
the Raider
fun
first
rant.
retrieved the harmonium from a crevice.
Database doesn't get as many opportunities to go on fun rants nowadays that he's so focused on trying to save the multiverse.
Up until the moment he heard Dayu's sorrowful music, and it calmed his fears. Just goes to show what the power of music can do. Oh, I wonder if this thing has a music video.
Oh dear.
Cool! Okay.
I had way too much fun with the filters for this episode.
Normal mode activate? No, not Warhol mode.
This
This is why we can't have nice things.
this gag. I had way too much fun with this gag. This was just an excuse for me to play with different editing effects. That's the whole plot line of this episode. I'm like, I want to do something fun with this. I don't want to just, call it out at the beginning and make mention of it. I want to do something fun with it. So, did Jason take over for the most enduring? I guess that depends upon your definition. In terms of whether that counts.
Am I wearing a fedora? That doesn't make a lick of sense.
No, it does not. If you mean character who has had the longest span of time during which they have appeared from beginning to end, then yes, technically Jason has been the character who has lasted the longest and still appeared recently. Whereas I think that that Bulk still holds the record for the most episodes where they appear in the credits. Even if they haven't appeared in necessarily the most episodes, credited for the most episodes, I think is still Pauly Trier for Bulk, because he was in the credits up into Lost Galaxy, and then returned for 2 full seasons of Samurai, whereas Jason David Frank was only up through Turbo initially, wasn't even in the first 16 episodes of Power Rangers, and then came back for 38 episodes of Dino Thunder. So, in terms of credit count, I think Pauly still holds the record there.
And how can there be this much exposition without actually explaining anything? I just feel that everything here is really blurry and...
I love this effect.
Whoa.
Yes,
But Serrator clearly has
Okay, so those sunglasses there, those are not sunglasses. I just feel the need to point that out. Those are not actual sunglasses. You can only kind of tell what's going on there, but if you look closely enough, those are just my regular Database Ranger glasses, and I literally couldn't find any proper sunglasses, so I just cut out pieces of construction paper and taped them to the inside of my glasses. I could not see anything for that shot.
That doesn't stop him from completely dominating the battle, knocking out everyone and reclaiming the harmonium from Serrator.
Oh, and you're right, Hayden. Paulie was also Jack in Hyperforce, which may not count as part of the main continuity of the series, but is absolutely a canon installment.
Would this be the end for one of our main heroes? Yeah, turn off J.J. Abrams mode while the Rangers check in on Jaden.
Oh man, lens flare ended up being an effect I would go on to use a lot with Database's glowy eyes. Should Serrator have been the main villain? He definitely does play a very nice role with Super Samurai. But I feel like if he had been the series villain throughout the whole thing, he probably would have worn a bit thin. I feel like Serrator was in just the right amount of the series.
Hey, we're back to normal. Did you just get it working?
Oh, I fixed that bug ages ago.
What?
Next time I tell you that something is not a toy, perhaps you'll listen.
Yes, she was. Dr. K was messing with the filters deliberately.
Both sides return home to recover. The Rangers tend to Jaden's wounds, while Master Xander soaks in the Sanzu River.
This was actually a pretty legit cliffhanger for something going on in when going into a hiatus of like 5 months. Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. YouTube is telling me that apparently, warning, we've detected copyrighted audio and video in my stream. I love that I'm getting claimed on watching my own video. Technically speaking, it's a video of me watching a TV show. Well, it's a video of me playing a character reviewing a TV show adapted from another TV show. We have so many layers right now. So yeah, the layers of meta to power reviews continues to just entertain me. I'm not sure what LEGO special that was briefly. It may have been a Bionicle thing. I don't know.
When he can just as easily continue deceiving everyone.
Oh, man.
These are not the actions of a mastermind. These are the actions of someone who is stalling for time, panicking, and still desperately trying to pretend that he still knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh, man.
But
that is so descriptive of, like, Madame Odious. Like, Madame Odious was another perfect example of someone who acted like they were, a brilliant schemer and then had no actual brilliant schemes. I find that to be a rather amusing trope within the series. Because, I mean, let's face it. The mastermind characters of Power Rangers are very rarely actual masterminds. It's always a limitation of the medium. Writers are not, evil geniuses who can necessarily always come up with actual evil genius plans. But they do what they can. They work to sell it. Selling it is really the big thing. Because let's face it, you look at even giant franchise things like the MCU, and hundreds, thousands of people have come up with different ways that they could have beaten Thanos more easily than the one way claimed by Doctor Strange. But he sold it as being this is the only way it's going to work, because they know something you don't. And there we go. That was the end of Year Zero. And yeah, I just sort of have that little. No, not ready for Year One yet. That's going to be next week. And that, we just sort of have that little tease still there of there is still more to Dr. K than we're revealing all at once. And obviously I teased that whole idea for a long time of, whether Dr. K was real or not. We really spent the entire third of the series playing around with that idea, where at times she seemed like she must exist, at other times she seemed like she couldn't. And it really wasn't until we got near the end of year one that we finally kind of got that confirmation that other people could see Dr. K as well and interact with her. And then the show just took a completely different direction as we moved into the second half of it. Oh, I didn't even realize that that next week was Chinese New Year. Oh, that's exciting. So yeah, it was a crazy experience at the time, getting to that point of, all right, I produced these 12 episodes in 12 weeks. I'm going to try and do 40 episodes in a year with the whole big storyline and everything. It was a huge undertaking. And I didn't know how it was all going to play out. Because, I mean, there's when you haven't done something like this before, you don't know how it's all going to work out. You know, I was hoping to finish it before I got married. MJ and I have been married for 5 years now. Obviously, that didn't work out. Then it's like, well, I'm going to try and finish it at least before I have kids. Obviously, that didn't work out either. As we now have our lovely infant child, Arjun. But back then, you know, when this was sort of the one big thing that, you know, outside of obviously, you know, MJ and I were living together at the time. I'd gotten a 9-to-5 temp job at this point, being Jake from State Farm, not the advertising Jake from State Farm, but just Jake working at State Farm, wearing khakis. But that was not a career. It was just, you know, a day job. You know, my levels of responsibility, I wasn't in grad school back then. My levels of responsibility to anything other than just, like, you know, making some income and trying to not make a mess of the apartment. Like, and the level of commitment necessary for the show and the level of coordination necessary for the show was so much lesser back then. I mean, we do have a clear end date in mind now. We are aiming for that October 13th of 2022, which will make this a 10-year-long project. And hoo boy, that's just such a mind-boggling thing that I've committed to working on this for 10 years of my life. And that does seem like the most me thing to do, but it is also just like a mind-boggling thing that I put this much time and effort into this YouTube series. And it all started just out of me feeling the need to have a creative outlet that reflected who I was. Because at the time, like I said, I was temping at State Farm. I was selling knives. I was not having a career like I wanted to have. I was not being engaged in theater like I wanted to be. You know, I had not been able to get my animation career off the ground, which you know, never ended up working out, but who knows what the future decades may hold. Okay, to be fair, I am talking about year 0. MJ is critiquing me about not making a mess of the apartment with regards to resin in the bathroom, trying to make my own version of this helmet, which did not work out, and the green screen in the living room, which, to be fair, did not exist at this point. Same thing with the spaceship in the living room, which did not exist at that point. It was just me with a camera and the tiny little gorilla pod that I would just attach to things. and a desk lamp. And that was like what we had. I didn't even have a tripod to set the camera on until like episode like 19. And like 18 was the first one where we properly used this couch. And I think I still was using the GorillaPod then. I'm like, we can't keep doing this. We're gonna do more couch reviews. I need to go pick up an actual tripod for this camera. So yeah, lot to talk about with this week and with this episode and with this first run of episodes, just sort of laying so much of the groundwork of what the show would evolve into over time. And there's still so much left to do. I'm really looking forward to finally releasing episode 92. And you'll understand why I'm like, this episode is episode 92, despite being fairly simple, has been in the works for a very long time. And you will understand what I mean by in the works for a very long time when you see the episode. Because you'll be like, wait, when was this filmed? So there's gonna be some elements to that. Without me giving anything away. But I'm looking forward to everybody seeing it. I'm looking forward to finishing it and continuing to hopefully hold true to this schedule of one scripted video per month minimum, which shouldn't be a problem once Dino Fury starts rolling. And trying to make sure that I hit 92 in February, 93 in April, and then 94 in the summer, 94 and 95 in the summer, and 96 by the end of the year if I'm lucky. That's the goal. Those 5 episodes. I got 5 episodes to go for this year, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Yes, it was 3 in the morning, but that was also, again, almost a full year after year 0. So I was talking specifically about how simple the show was during year 0. All right, so let's wrap things up with our closing non-controversial statements. So these should all be things that we can all agree upon, should be things we don't need to argue about in life anymore, should be equally non-controversial to say. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool. I almost said superheroes. Like, how do I keep screwing that one up? They're my phrases. I'm the one who came up with this whole routine. I'm the one who came up with this whole YouTube channel, and I keep messing it up. So, all that being said, thank you again for joining me in this review of reviews, just reviews all the way down. And I can't wait to see how things go with Dino Fury, and I look forward to revisiting year 1 next week. So until next time, I guess the only thing left to say is farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.